This is Bobby C. at Yankee Stadium, where the Bronx Bombers have promoted their top prospect. Welcome to the big show, Gleyber Torres.
I feel happy. Also today for Miggy, also Severino too. The bullpen, good game for all today, and try and win is the most important.
First step out, I thought he was really anxious, really excited. You could tell probably the nerves and kind of jumping out there pretty hard, but really settled in.
There was plenty of buzz for Torres here on Sunday at Yankee Stadium, but it was one of the other Yankees' top prospects, Miguel Andujar, who had 4 hits in the win.
Nada, siempre positivo.
Keeping a positive mind, a lot of communication with my hitting coaches, watching videos, correcting the little things here and there, and I think that has been the key.
It's hard not to be excited here in the Bronx, and Yankee manager Aaron Boone was no different. He talked about the promising future for this organization.
We know we've got 2 really good players. It's just a matter of, when they complete their development, and they're showing, Gleyber with an earned trip here now, and Andujar as he's gained traction. I mean, they're earning their time.
At this point in your career, did you ever think you'd be the oldest guy in the starting lineup?
I actually made that joke earlier. I was used to being the youngest guy. I mean, obviously it's going to change, but I was 22, 23 catching 40-year-olds, and now I'm almost 30, and I had to laugh about it. And I think one of my friends texted me, "Hey, you're the oldest guy in the lineup. How does that feel?" And it creeps up on you, but it just speaks volumes to our team that we got a lot of young youth, and our development's doing a great job with them all, and you're seeing it come to fruition now.
Gleyber good. Although the rookie was held hitless Sunday, Torres has gotten better with every game since. He has 6 hits over the last 4 games. With a double on Wednesday, the 21-year-old became the youngest Yankee with an extra base hit since Derek Jeter, the former Yankee captain, doubled on June 3rd, 1995, just a few days before his 21st birthday. The Bronx Bombers won the final 2 games of the series with Toronto Saturday and Sunday, and then swept the Minnesota Twins Monday through Thursday. Nothing gets the Yankees rolling like mini. The offense came alive the last 4 games, including Thursday's matinee before the West Coast trip. It didn't matter that the Yankees had no hits in the first 5 innings Thursday afternoon at Yankee Stadium, or that they still had just 3 hits entering the 9th. All that mattered was that Gary Sanchez came to the plate against the Twins closer Fernando Rodney and rocketed a 3-run walk-off home run into the left field seats, giving the Yanks a 4-3 win and extending a 6-game winning streak for the Bombers. Mets fans were buzzing through the first 2 weeks of the season of April. But you look at the standings now, and the Yanks, despite a rough start, are 15-9. The Mets, who started so hot, are still in first, but are 15-8, 4-6 over their last 10 games. The Pinstripers are 8-2 over their last 10 games, including an 11-5 mark on the season right here in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium. The Mets bullpen faltered against St. Louis Thursday, hungry for a strong starting pitching performance after a string of mostly poor ones. The Mets seemed to receive what they were looking for from Noah Syndergaard, of course. However, in what is becoming a common theme, the Mets bullpen then made sure it wouldn't matter. Closer Jeurys Familia coughed up the tying run in the 10th, and the bullpen surrendered the game winner in the 13th. Mets fall 4-3 and a walk-off loss to the Cardinals. 4-3 walk-off win for the Yanks, 4-3 walk-off loss for the Mets. Baseball, a long season, folks. The Bombers are in Anaheim tonight. They begin that series without first baseman Tyler Austin, who has looked really good. Austin doesn't look like a guy who needs a day off, but the Yanks know he's about to get a few of them. While Major League Baseball cut Austin's suspension for inciting a benches clearing incident April 11th in Boston from 5 games to 4, he'll have to start serving it tonight against the Angels. Mets are also out west. They are in San Diego. Starter Jacob deGrom toes the rubber and goes for his 3rd straight game with double-digit Ks tonight versus the Padres. The NFL draft was as big as Texas last night. I can't remember a draft in recent memory with more intrigue leading up. And honestly, the draft did live up to expectations. Those big 4 quarterbacks were taken in the top 10, making some history along the way. But you had Josh Rosen falling to number 10 in Arizona, while the Heisman winner, the best quarterback of the 4, in my opinion, as I've been saying all along, went number 1 to Cleveland. Baker Mayfield is a two-time walk-on in college football, and now he'll try to resurrect the lowly Browns. Plenty of questions about his makeup, see the police video, and his athleticism. But statistically speaking, he was the best of the 4 QBs that could all become middle-of-the-road guys in the NFL. Despite the Big 12's reputation, Mayfield faced stiffer competition than either Sam Darnold or Josh Rosen last year. The adjusted defensive QBR of Mayfield's opponents, weighed by his number of action plays against them, was 44.8 last season. By the same method, Darnold and Rosen's opponents' defensive QBR was 47.4 and 50.9 respectively. The lower the defensive QBR, the better the defense is at stopping opposing quarterbacks. Darnold, of course, would go to the Jets at number 3. More on that in just a moment. Josh Allen went to Buffalo with the 7th pick. Meanwhile, choose to agree or disagree with me, but the Giants got the best player in the draft Thursday night in Dallas. Big Blue added another weapon to their offense with the selection of Penn State running back Saquon Barkley with the number 2 overall pick. The Giants add Barkley to their stable of playmakers on offense alongside Odell Beckham Jr. and Evan Engram, where he should serve as the franchise back the teams lack since Ahmad Bradshaw left town. It'll be interesting to see whether the Giants use Barkley on returns. Usually highly drafted players who were devastating return men in college like Reggie Bush end up coming off return duties to help stay healthy in the pros. The Bronx Boy, oh boy, that sounds really good, brings upper tier versatility and big play speed to the Giants offense. At 6 foot, 233 pounds with 4.40 speed, Barkley can handle high volume touches in the run game and create matchups as a receiver out of the backfield. Giants GM Dave Gettleman thought Barkley was the best player in the draft. He hadn't seen a player like this in 30 years, he says. He had Barkley as his highest-ranking player on draft day since Peyton Manning. No Giants running back in history has scored as many as 150 fantasy points in his rookie season. Barkley should get there and tack on another 100-plus on his 2018 tally. So excited, like a kid on Christmas morning. The Jets traded up to grab essentially the guy that many people thought, myself included, would go number 1. But Gang Green shouldn't rush Darnold into the lineup. He had only 24 college starts. He's only 20 years old, and he needs some reps. When he's ready, play him. When will Darnold be ready? That'll be the big question to start. Todd Bowles said there's no timetable. The sooner he plays, the better. Added Bowles, we're not going to throw him out there, but at the same time, we're not going to hold him back either. Teddy Bridgewater could be the odd man out. If he's not the number 1 or the number 2, what's the point in keeping him? He's trade bait for the Jets. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for my final thoughts on Saquon Barkley. The Bronx Boy is coming home. He might have been a Jets fan growing up, but Barkley is a Giant now. He'll look good in this kind of blue, too. He was touched by the hand of God, frankly, Giants GM Dave Gettleman said per the New York Daily News. And yes, I think like Gettleman. I'm not sure any of the big 4 quarterbacks in this draft become Hall of Famers, but I do think Barkley will. He reminds me of Barry Sanders with some LaDainian Tomlinson in him, too. And I do see Super Bowl in the Giants' future. Throughout the draft process, Big Blue's new chief has insisted his goal was to take a future Hall of Famer with the number 2 overall pick, regardless of position, not pigeonhole his team by forcing a quarterback that high. By his own assessment, Gettleman hit it out of the park. I haven't seen a guy like this in a long time, and I've been running around doing this for 30-plus years, Gettleman said of Barkley. He is the unanimous best player in the draft. Gettleman called Barkley a touchdown maker. The Penn State product had 53 total touchdowns in 3 college seasons, a school record. He also described the notion that taking a running back at number 2 was poor positional value as a crock. The decision to draft Barkley instead of the heir apparent to Eli Manning will set the tone for years to come. Do you love the pick as much as I do? Hit me up on Twitter at TheVoiceBobbyC. Share your thoughts. That's your sports. Stay tuned.